Now it's my pleasure to introduce our area directors and presiding officers, Lydia Cruz Maclet and Teresa Alejandrino.
Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Today we're going to have a great day. We're having a harvest of words and laughs. And to begin the right way, we have Teresa.
Hi, I am Teresa, and I'm the director of B3. Can I get a good morning from area B2? Can I get a good morning from area B3? Can I get a good morning from everybody that doesn't know what area they belong to? Well, that doesn't matter because we're all here to support every single contestant.
Let's start immediately with the Pledge of Allegiance and an inspirational thought by Herb Nowell, please.
Place the flag and join with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You can be seated. Today we're having our contest and this competition. We are always in competition in life, and as a thought for today, let us always be in competition, but let us always do it in a fair and equitable manner. Madam Director.
And we cannot start this contest before we acknowledge our dignitaries. Past International Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Accredited Speaker, Don Inch. And we are so lucky. We have two past international directors. Past International Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Herb Nowell.
Current District Public Relations Manager, Distinguished Toastmaster, Martha Navarrete. Current Division B Director, Distinguished Toastmasters, Alan Mann, and wife, Distinguished Toastmasters, Linda Mann. Current Area A1 Director, Competent Communicator, George Dusan. I would now like to introduce our Toastmasters for the evaluation contest. This person is the president of Toastmasters Excel. He has been in Toastmasters for 2 years. He has 33 years of experience with lights. Some say that maybe he invented the timing cards as well. He is father of 2 children and a grandfather. Please help me welcome Joe Bocino.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the evaluation contest. Evaluations are like the nutrients that we put on our plants to help them grow. We will have a guest speaker who is going to be evaluated by 4 evaluation contestants in Area B2 and 1 in Area B3. These nutrients that the evaluators are going to be provided will be judged by a panel of judges. We hope that the nutrients are provided are just enough to help this contestant to grow in her journey along the Competent Communicators Manual. But we hope also that there's not too much manure. With that, I wanted to remind everyone that the speaker has a 5 to 7 minute speech to be prepared. The evaluators will evaluate, and then they will be sequestered into a separate room. They will have 5 minutes to prepare their evaluations. After the 5-minute period is over, we will bring the contestants back one by one. This is the order in which the contestants will be brought back. From Area B2, speaker number 1, Greg Seymour. Speaker number 2, Stephanie Garcia. Speaker number 3, Katrina Paez. And speaker number 4, William Yim. During the period in which these evaluation contests take place, there will be 1 minute of silence between each speaker so that the judges have a minute to mark their judging sheets. I would ask everyone to please remain within the room, and also please be silent during this 1 minute period. After Area B2 is completed, judges will then turn in their ballots, and we will bring in the Area B3 contestant, Tim Mullins. During this period, also, please remain seated and quiet. Chief Judge, have the judges been briefed on the rules?
Sir, the judges, ballot counters, and timers have been briefed. Let the contest begin.
Thank you. Introducing our guest speaker, Lynn, with The Curse of Email. Lynn Chalk, The Curse of Email.
Good morning, everybody. Raise your hand if you have a love-hate relationship with email. A whole lot of you, and I am so with you. For example, last week I was in Seattle, and on my flight home, I was very diligent. I opened my computer, and I hit the emails. I took care of 183 emails on that 2-hour flight. When I got off of the plane, my inbox was completely empty, and I was feeling pretty good about myself. So I got home, and I hooked up my computer, 53, just like that. That's the curse of email for my job. What I do is I manage, for an assisted living company, I manage 10 nurses across 17 states covering 78 buildings. So all of us are all over the map at any given time, and email is a very, very useful tool for me. But I've learned some very important lessons that I want to share with you about the use of email. The first one is this: not every email needs to be answered immediately as soon as it's received. And I learned this because on the couple of days a week that I'm actually sitting at my desk in front of my email, I can have my entire day hijacked by those emails coming in. It's very tempting because you always want to know what's going to be in it. And then you feel like, well, if I answer this one right away, I won't have to deal with it later. But it happens over and over again. So I've learned to turn off that little notification for a while if I really want to focus on getting anything done. Second lesson is beware of reply all. This has caused so many issues. I have an example of one of my nurses in a building who sent a reply all email. We were talking about a family member who was particularly difficult. And she was kind of venting a little bit. It's not appropriate on email, but I get it sometimes. I think her exact words were unreasonable nut job. Family member. Unfortunately, the family member was on the reply list. Did not go over well. It took a lot of us to make things better with that lady. And that brings me to my third and most important point, and that is never ever write anything in an email that you wouldn't be proud to have your mother read. And I know my mom. She's a very sweet lady. She would not be happy if she saw some of the things I was thinking sometimes in reply to some emails. For example, recently my boss sent an email with an assignment for me and my team. And my reply, and I did write it, was, you have no clinical knowledge, you have no business telling me and my team what we need to be doing. I wrote it, and I took a deep breath, and I saved it, fortunately. I opened it up the next morning, and it was much longer than the statement that I just gave you. And I edited considerably. I went through it over and over again and said, okay, what do I want to accomplish here? And I fixed it, and eventually I ended up not sending that email at all. I picked up the phone and I called him. And it worked, because I got an email back from him thanking me for my feedback and telling me that he would try to do better in the future. So, better way. Face-to-face communication, although in my job it's difficult, is the best way to handle a difficult message. We call that, where I work, we call that crucial conversations. And crucial conversations should not take place over email, ever, ever. So those are my thoughts about email. It's, as I said, it will always be a blessing and a curse. I will always have a love-hate relationship with it, but my advice to all of you is to go ahead and use it, but use it wisely. Thank you.
We'll have 5 minutes in which you will be sequestered. And at this point, I'd like to bring Lynn back up. Thank you very much for volunteering to give your speech in front of all of these people this morning.
They were very kind. Thank you.
I wanted to ask you a few questions. If you could please tell me what club you are representing.
The Supper Club.
And that is area?
Alan,
Whatever.
what is the area now?
J3, I think. J3.
J3.
Oh, great. Okay. It says here now, I have never met
Are you
Lynn
sure it's
before,
not J5?
so this is a great opportunity for us to get to know Lynn, all of us, as well as me. You are the Vice President of Resident Care at Sunrise Senior Living.
That is correct.
It also says you've been there for 12 years.
I have.
When you first started, how did you become Vice President?
I started as a regional nurse, so the people that I'm managing now, that was my original position. And I had a lot of mentors and very kind people as I was learning the company and trying to figure out my job. People really supported me. I'm not a person who self-promotes very well, but I had cheerleaders. I had people who talked about me to people above me, and I got promoted in 2 separate times since then.
Now, you also have grandchildren,
I do.
and how old are they?
6 months and 3 years, and they're the love of my life.
Awesome.
Best thing ever.
As a grandfather, I can attest to that. They are special. How long have you been in Toastmasters now?
Just about a year.
And how has Toastmasters helped you in your career?
It's been amazing. It's funny. Throughout my career, I've needed to do speaking, to mostly company groups. But somehow when I got that vice president title, I started holding myself to a higher standard, and I started getting really, really nervous. It kind of changed how I looked at things. So I had to figure out, I mean, since I do have to do a lot of speaking, I had to figure out how I was gonna do it without freaking out every time. And I joined Toastmasters. My club is small, but they're the most supportive people. They've been fabulous. And I really do, I don't think that I could have stood up here and done this today a year ago. I know I couldn't have without being extremely nervous. So it's helped me tremendously.
Great, great. Another question, regarding your club, how often do you meet?
Once a month.
And where do you meet?
We meet at different restaurants. That's one of the points of the club, is that we go to different places, and the Toastmaster for that month chooses the venue, makes all the arrangements, and puts everything together. So it's kind of an event planning club too.
When's your next meeting?
Third Friday of every month.
Third Friday, okay. I'm doing the math. I guess I just missed the last.
Yes, you did.
Well, Lynn, I also see here that you are a gardener.
I am.
And what type of gardening do you do?
I have a front yard full of roses, so those are my favorite. I love taking care of them and cutting them and making it look beautiful. We have apples and grapevines in my backyard, and those are a blessing and a curse, just like email, because the grapes are gorgeous, they're beautiful, and we get a lot of grapes that we can eat, but little critters like them too. So that makes it awesome.
Well, Lynn, thank you. We have some gifts for you somewhere, and a certificate.
It's right there.
There we are. Thank you very much.
You have the certificate? Scott?
Is there a certificate?
There are certificates over here.
Okay.
They should be in your hand.
Well, I want to thank you once again on behalf of Toastmasters for coming in and giving your speech. And we have a little gift for you.
Thank you.
And there is a certificate coming to you as well. I think we want a photo.
Okay.
So Linda, are you going to take the photo?
Yeah.